Welcome to Sweet Tea Ethics, the show pouring life lessons and conversations with creatives, artists, and cultural producers about the ways harmonious living and balanced well-being have shaped it. I'm your host, Dr. Ed Garnes. Make sure you subscribe to the show, join our mailing list, and visit sweetteaethics.com. All right, well, welcome to Sweet Tea Ethics, where we pour conversations with activists, artists, people addicted to freedom, and people down for Black liberation. I have a special guest in the house, so I'm going to bring him into the virtual couch in a great level. We have DJ Sir Daniel. Now, I thought about sipping my sweet tea from a wine glass, but the last pilot episode, I got a little crunk. So I got a regular sweet tea glass, but DJ Sir Daniel, the co-host of the podcast Grammy nominated podcast Q Points. He is an all-around DJ specialist. He's an activist. He's a lover of freedom, but he also is an educator, right? He is going to drop knowledge like you never knew. You see those crates behind you? What I appreciate about DJ Sir Daniel on Q Points, you're going to get music, but you're going to get social commentary. He's going to big up for the female MCs. That's what he's known for. So welcome to Sweet Tea Ethics, DJ Sir Daniel. How you doing, my brother?
Dr. Ed, it is a pleasure to be on here with you today. The intro is crazy. I didn't know we were Grammy nominated, but I'm going to accept that. I'm going to
you know the podcast Grammys. Podcast Grammys, you know.
Well, yeah, exactly. But I'm going to call into existence a Grammy for our podcast because that's coming.
Okay.
That's
okay.
coming
Yeah,
I'm going to call that. I'm going to agree with you.
Your authenticity is what I like. And also DJ Sir Daniel and brother J Ray, who also is the co-host of Q Points. Now they doing their thing at Pandora. Tell us about what y'all got going on besides Q Points with this new Pandora initiative, because a lot of your listeners of Q Points are actually coming from Pandora.
Right. So just like you said, a lot of our listeners are using Pandora to stream Q Points podcast. And, you know, we talk about the music a lot on the show, but the Pandora has this new initiative where you can basically create your own radio show. And so what this allows us to do is to actually include the music and give you like a J. Ray and Sir Daniel kind of American Bandstand top 40, but we do very specific playlists about specific topics. You know, we're Generation Xers to the core, and so a lot of what we use our experiences to cultivate these playlists and to cultivate the shows, the conversation that goes along with them. So when you log on to Pandora and you check out the new Q Points podcast Pandora playlist, not only are you going to hear the music, but you're going to hear conversation between J. Ray and myself that goes along with the playlist.
Oh, that's great. That's great. I mean, I love it. I mean, the Missy Elliott, I mean, I didn't know you could rap. DJ Sir Daniel mixed so many Missy lyrics into that episode that they did on Sister Missy Elliott. Well, that's good. I want to give you a shout out because I'm not even sure if you noticed, and this is one of the reasons why I wanted you on here. One of my first interviews, either the first or second interview when I became Dr. Garnes, was Q Points. So I appreciate you all bringing Dr. Ed Garnes into the whole digital space. So I just want to thank you personally for that. And speaking of music, I got a dedication for you. You know, so one of the things that we talk about with Sweet Tea Ethics is jazz meditation. So I have one that I'm going to dedicate to you today. So I want all our listeners to go through your files, and we're going to go to Jamal Ahmad. We're going to go 1987. We're going to go Crystal album, Swahili Land. You may remember a major DJ from Detroit made this sample popular. So our jazz meditation today, Swahili Land, Ahmad Jamal. That's what I want to dedicate to DJ Sir Daniel. So since you are a music aficionado, I'm going to start with just a brief quiz before we get into your activist proclivities and the other things that brought you into music. I got two.
Oh, boy. Let me cross my fingers here.
Who is singing background on Part-Time Lover, Stevie Wonder. Part-Time Lover
Part-time
has a
lovers.
background singer, very famous. He actually started as a background singer. So I gave you a hint right there.
Oh man, I am drawing a
Now
blank here
this trips up a lot of DJs. This
because
trips up a lot
automatically
of DJs.
I want to say Michael, but because Michael has done a lot of backgrounds for Stevie in the
I'm gonna give
past, but
I'm gonna give you one more hit.
okay. Oh,
Now, if I stuff DJ Sordell, I got to be good.
because the scatting makes me think of Al Jarreau and
Part-time lover.
okay. My hands are up. I think you got me on this one.
It's Luther.
That makes absolute sense.
Yeah, because Stevie's voice is so melodic that people think it's
Yes.
Stevie, but it's actually Luther coming through
That
on
makes so
background.
much sense. That makes a lot of sense because Luther did that. He's another one. He popped up on a lot of people's backgrounds and like there's records by Change and the BBQ band that you hear and you're like that sounds like Luther. Well, yes, it's probably
David Bowie.
Yes, absolutely. Aretha, all of them. So now, you got me. You got
Now I guarantee you will never unhear it. You will always hear it now.
Absolutely, you got me.
So
You got me on that
I'm just curious, DJ Sardania. I've asked everyone from Raphael Sadiq to Anthony David to Avery Sunshine this question. What was the moment? Not that you fell in love with music, but that you knew music had a soul force either to liberate you or to bring you joy. What was the moment? What was the song where you identified music and its healing proclivities for you? That aha moment.
The aha moment came at a very early age. I think my earliest recollection, I could have been about 5 or 6 years old. So I'm an only child, so it was just me and mom in Brooklyn, New York, and this is the early 80s, late 70s, early 80s. Mom had one of those consoles that had the turntable, and with the big knobs that you click and everything. All you had to do was set the record on there, and so basically, I learned how to do that really early. At first, I learned how to do that really early, and she gave me permission to put on my own records. So I grew up 7-Day Adventist, so a lot of what I listened to was a lot of Heritage USA singers, these Papa John's Garden, I think may have been the one record that I went to on a weekly basis on Friday evenings, because on Friday evenings the TV had to be cut off. Anything outside that wasn't Christ focused had to be turned off, because that was the start of the Sabbath. And so because I was allowed to play those records, that's where I got my connection with music, because I could be, she could be, doing her thing, curling her hair for church the next day, and I could be in the other room playing these records on my own. And I just remember hearing a lot of them had children's voices, had children's choirs singing along. So can't call a particular song, but I do know that act of allowing me autonomy to play these records, to play this music, and feeling safe enough to play them, allowed me to have a deep starting connection with music on my own. And as an only child, you create your own entertainment. And that was part of my entertainment, and you create your own world as well. And so that's where the connection for me and music started.
You know what I always like about you is your diverse musical palette. I think that's why we have such a soul connection. Because I mean, you definitely hip hop. Now, I mean, like some of the hip hop, especially with female MCs, like you school me all the time on that. Like you'll drop a reference, and I'm like, yo, I got to go back to the drawing board. So talk about how you develop, even as a hip hop head. Like you are a music purist, but you're not one of those bougie music purists. You're like the everyday brother who can just tell you a sample. You can except for the Luther on Stevie Wonder's album.
Yeah,
Most of
you
the times
stumped
you
me
know
on that
who's
one.
singing background. So tell me how growing up, 7 Day Adventist. We know how strict that can be. I mean, you going to
Yes.
Kingdom Hall. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what you're doing. So
Mhm.
tell me how you develop such a wide a range of music, because when you come to a DJ Daniel event, you are going to get a smorgasbord. Like your whole situation is going to change, because psychologically you take us on a musical journey. So tell us about how this diverse interest develops for you.
What what I can say facilitated that was the fact that I grew up in the 80s. Like
Okay.
I am I'm 5 years old at the beginning of the 80s.
Okay.
So radio programming was different. Um we were on the verge of MTV. So we didn't even have cable in Brooklyn at that time. So a lot of what I would pick up definitely happened on the on the school van on the way to school, because our school bus driver would turn on, some secular radio for us at the time. So I would hear everything. And then on top of that, television, we would get these shows called hot tracks, where it would be it was a video show before MTV, and Hot Tracks would have Debbie and Angie from General Hospital.
Mm-hmm.
You know who Debbie and Angie are,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, I'm old. I'm that old. Yeah.
Okay. So they would host it, and so it was like, oh, kids, teenagers on television.
Yeah.
I'm in there. On the occasion that I would stay home on Saturday, I would sneak and watch Soul Train. So
Mm-hmm.
there's different places that I'm picking up. My musical tastes are developing. Again, but the radio is definitely what honed it. The hearing top 10, top 40 from across the nation, and hearing a lot of pop music really opens me up. I'll play some. I threw on some Dan Hardiman last night. I can
Okay.
dream
Okay.
about, you know what I'm saying? Those kinds of guys, Jeff Lober, all of those people I
Oh
grew up listening to.
yes,
So I
yes.
really
And
attribute,
Jeff Lober is still touring. Mm-hmm.
yes. So it it definitely, growing up in that time where you were just forced to listen to everything, really attributes to my repertoire as it is, as far as my musical tastes are concerned.
So it's one thing to have musical taste, but you are really a musicologist. Like I definitely see you as a college professor, right? I see
Oh
you
wow.
teaching the art of DJing. I think you could do definitely a 80s and 90s musicology class. So were you the person that is looking at the liner notes? Like where does the educator side of you come out? Because listening to cue points is really an educational experience. Because for me, a person of diverse interest, whenever someone can stump me, right?
Hmm.
Whenever someone can have me rethink how I feel, recalibrate my system on how I look at an artist, that's a little deeper than just being a DJ. So where does this educator, music psychologist or musicologist come from?
First of all, thank you. You just actually spoke a confirmation on something that Jay Ray and I were talking about earlier. So you just confirmed
Hallelujah.
something. Okay,
Hallelujah.
look at that. Look at God.
All
Um,
right.
I guess, but yeah, just like you said, the looking at liner notes, I don't know, it was just this general curiosity of, my first thing was looking at an album cover and just being captivated by, there were some more than others, but just being captivated by the cover of the artist, and then just staring at them and then flipping the cover, and there's like I like to read when I was a kid, and then flipping on the back and seeing all these different the names and the producers, the writers. But my favorite part was the thank you section. I liked seeing my favorites thanking my other favorites. That meant something to me. That meant something to see them mention people that I like. Tina Turner likes such and such. Oh, that that endears me more to her because she likes them as much as I like them as well. And so that just created this this curiosity about who's working with who, about who these people are. I got glimpses of who the artists were by their liner notes, by their thank yous. And again, just this somewhat shy, introverted, social introvert kid that is an only child, I'm bound to do those things. Those are things that I do to entertain myself and to keep myself company, is delving into the lives of these artists and kind of putting their show on for a minute and just trying to see if I just living vicariously through them, through their music. So that's where that's where the curiosity comes from. And I don't talk like this unless I'm with other people that are like-minded. All right. And so truly, when you hear the speaking, the whatever theories that J. Ray and I come up with, it's sparked by other people who share the same interest. So who knows, if you drop me in a classroom with people who are genuinely interested and who share the same desires to know more about the artists and their process and their state of mind at the time of creating this project, then sure, I can see that happening too. But yeah, that's where it all comes from.
Well, I'm glad you said that because, the professor in you always appeals to Black psychological principles. One of the things that you just mentioned is connectedness to others. That's a deep Black psychology principle from the late Dr. Joe White, my mentor. So that soul force and that connection that you feel from artists makes sense why Q Points and what you do is so authentic, because it's coming from a place of a connection to the diaspora and that soul force that we get from music. So even though I'm familiar with Q Points and I know the good things that you and Brother J. Ray do, what was the aha moment for Q Points? Like, how do two dope brothers come together to create an experience that is award winning, well deservedly so? I was happy when you all got that mainstream acknowledgement, because a lot of times the authentic people that run culture are often left out of these particular awards. But I don't know the origin story. I mean, were y'all having sweet tea and say, "Hey, Q Points, let's do it"? I mean, were you DJing one night and J. Ray was there? Nah, 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 nah. I mean, what's the origin story of Q Points?
It's true. It's not as glamorous, or it's not like a Marvel hero origin story like that. It really just was an organic meeting of the minds. Like we've known each other for over a decade, and as you know, J. Ray is a battery pack. J. Ray is going to, if he even so much as hears an inkling of an idea from you,
oh yeah,
he is going to help you magnify that idea 100 times more until it becomes a fruition. It comes to fruition. And so basically this is like over a decade ago, I was trying to figure out how to set myself apart as a DJ, because I was at that crossroad of, the clubs ain't really doing it for me, but I'm still a part of this culture. How do I elevate myself in this culture? And so I started wanting to talk to other DJs. And so I went to him with that idea, and he was on it. He was like, "Yes, we could record it here at my house, and this video, and you just gotta. Who do you want to talk to? Okay, let's get DJ Deliver. DJ Deliver, a well-known Atlanta DJ, is the very first person that said yes and came to the house, came to J Ray's factory of ideas, and sat down with me, and we had this conversation." And that led me to having a conversation with DJ Jazzy Joyce, who is an icon in DJ culture. And so that led me to other avenues and getting on the radar of the DJ community here in Atlanta. And so that kind of started that journey. And so right before in the midst of the pandemic, we were both trying to figure out, like, what do we do here? What do we do now in this moment? We were both kind of trying to figure out, how do we make some type of cultural impact and say something? And then we were both like, well, why don't we just do a podcast? And this was about 4 years ago. Why don't we do a podcast? We came up with several names. And at that moment, our intention was, we're not just going to talk gossip, because there's plenty of shows that do that. Our intention that we set during that that Zoom or whatever, what were we using? Zoom or whatever meeting we were using, is that we wanted to talk intentionally about Black music history, but from an emotional standpoint, because we were going to always come back to ourselves and talk about the emotional impact that this music and these people in the culture have had on us. And I think that that's what you're hearing with regards to Black psychology, is that we tapped into that definitely, because there's something deeper going on that historically needs to be documented and that we as a people need to explore. And so two Black men having these conversations that aren't just surface should have a ripple effect on the community at large. And so that was the intention that we set from that day moving forward. And we've been kicking it ever since, 4 years later. And I got to tell you, Doc, we don't lack for ideas. It's like there's a synergy. I like to call us the LA and Babyface of podcasting. There's a synergy, and there is a wealth of knowledge, and not just knowledge, curiosity. Like, I don't consider myself the smartest person in the room, but I'm gonna want to know. I'm gonna have a question about something. Yeah, and I think that's what appeals. That's the appeal, is that we all have. I might ask a question that you may have been thinking, but haven't landed on it yet. So I think that's the appeal of what we do, and that's how we got started, and that's why we're here now.
Yeah, I should set up a ding every time you say a Black psychological principle, because emotional vitality is another one, right? And so I think that's what we pick up on when we listen to Q Points, is the emotional vitality that you and J Ray bring to the table, but it's scholarly without being off-putting. That's what I really like about Q Points. But you talked about this explicitly and implicitly, that there is a deeper reason for Q Points, right? That you want to focus not only on history, but you want to focus on the Black diaspora. A lot of people don't feel responsible for the culture in that way. I look at what Black-owned media does from a mainstream level, and I'm a little disappointed. Like, I watch the BET Awards sometimes and I cringe. So I got to go to my Q Points to get my authenticity. So what do you feel is your responsibility for the culture, and how do you feel about how Black music is represented in mainstream waters now? Because it seems to be a little one-sided, but that's just my opinion.
Right. So I think the word that keeps coming up in my head, and the theme for me my life is balance.
All right.
Balance is very important to me. That's why I appreciate you for because whenever I encounter Dr. Ed, whenever I encounter you in our, whatever spaces we're in, scholarly, academic, whatever, I feel safe.
I
And
got you.
so I say that to say the main image and energy that we are presented with at all times, especially unfortunately when it comes to Black men, is an energy that I don't feel safe with. And so my intention is going forward is about making people feel safe. I don't feel we have enough of that circulating in amongst us, period, amongst us on one-on-one everyday contact or on social media or in the media, period. There's always a gotcha moment. There's always somebody there's a one-upsman energy
Yeah.
that's always there. There's a somebody wants to tell who can tell the bad news the fastest. It's an unbalance. And so that's my calling, is to restore some type of balance because I just feel like that can be world changing, can be life changing. It changes my life and how I navigate the world and how I navigate media. Like, you're right. There's sometimes where it just becomes too much, and like I just have to say to myself, you know what? You have the choice. You know what you can do, Sir Daniel? You can turn that off. You can watch cue points. We can exercise that choice. And I think a lot of times that we're not held hostage by these media outlets. That's the thing I realize, is we're not held hostage by a barrage of tweets from people. We can turn it off. We can unfollow. We can block. We can, find some alternative. And I think that's the main thing, is that there might not be enough alternatives for people to tune into or to, digest when it comes to Black media. And again, unfortunately, there's it's all about making money, what's the word I'm looking for that the kids are always using, about monetizing capitalism.
Yeah.
Capitalism is real.
Yeah.
We are operating in a capitalistic society, and if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense to a lot of people. So I think that's the main thing that we're fighting with here, is that we're going up against machines that are paying way too much money and making way too much money for a lot of people. Even the ones that are the enlightened ones that we're kind of looking to and thinking, oh, well, they're the enlightened ones. They have a bottom line as well. They've got a number as well. So I don't know. It's just something that we can't control it, but we can navigate around it.
Yeah, you're talking about those compromised values that spill over into cultural production. Black life is much more than just music, but it seems like the music is how Black culture gets represented globally. So I think we do have a responsibility, but I agree it is about safety. I think for me, part of that organic safety that people feel is that I'm also a therapist, so I expect anyone that comes in the therapy room to be able to feel safe and feel like they can present their story. So that issue of safety is very important, especially because for Black folks, they think we are monolithic. So if you anything outside of stereotype, they don't know how to handle it. Like, oh, they can read good on cue points. They got good subject verb agreement. Like, y'all are considered anomalies sometimes in this world. But Sweet Tea Ethics is also about these stories of resilience, which is another Black psychological principle. So, give me a story of resilience or something that you have overcome in your life that has led to not only your healing, it could be music related, it could be, just related to things that are not music. What's a resilient story that we may not know about you? Something that you've overcome that has really defined the DJ Sir Daniel, aka musicologist, that we see today. Because art is
Um,
not created in a vacuum. So I'm sure there are some
no,
experiences that lead to this cue points flow that we have.
no, for sure. So I think one thing I moved a lot as a child. We moved a lot. We moved. I was actually born in Barbados. So my parents divorced, so that was the very first move. It's like my mom we packed up and moved to another country. So
Wow.
there's this. So we and so there's the. We kind of led a nomadic life if you think about it. We lived in New York. We've lived in Florida. And now here we've resided here in the Metro Atlanta area for the past more than 30 years now.
Mm.
And so, but what that experience exposed me to a lot of different people, a lot of different philosophies, a lot of different accents, and a lot of different music. But what it also did is I didn't necessarily have a feeling of being rooted anywhere, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So the resilience or comes in of me having to always adapt or having the ability to be adaptable every and anywhere. And so that just I don't know, that ability gave me I don't know, maybe an appeal to every man, every person.
Mhm.
The ability to speak to people no matter where they're from, because what I've been able to do is I've been able to acknowledge that seam that all of us have that transcends where you from, where you grew up. And so maybe that's something I've been able to tap into in my journeys, in life. And yeah, and has that I believe is one of my main superpowers.
It's making sense now because if you've ever been around DJ Sir Daniel outside of the digital space, you feel like a play cousin. And so since your people are from Barbados, I have people from the island, so we might be cousins, similar to me and J Ray could possibly be cousins, even though we're all family, because we
Right, right.
we know from the African diaspora we all family. But yeah, it
Mm,
makes a lot of sense because when I experience you in person, I feel good. Like there's never a time where I've been around you and your energy made me be like, you know what, he is a butthole. Because you know how this industry is. You don't meet your
absolutely.
heroes. Don't meet
Do
your
not
heroes.
meet your heroes.
You'll
Yes,
be
you're right.
disappointed. But that makes sense why your energy is the way it is because I think that you do appeal to everyone. And I had to go back into my mental Rolodex to figure out my first experience with you. And I thought it was J Ray, but it was actually Brother Mashawn Simon. I don't know if you remember.
You
This
don't
was
leave out the
years ago.
D. Don't leave
Oh
out the
yeah,
D. You have
Mashawn
to
D.
say
Simon,
yes.
Reverend soon to be doctor. Okay.
Exactly.
But yeah, so when I first met you through Mashawn, I was like, okay, and experiencing your DJ set, it's like a love ethic, like a love principle that exudes out of you. So it would make sense with this resilient story that you just told, because brother James Baldwin, I mean, my t-shirt keep getting cut off. I'm trying to show the brother love, but
Right.
the digital space doesn't want you to see this shirt.
You
But
gotta
he
fit
talked
into that
about
box.
yeah, he talked about home. It's not necessarily being a location, but maybe an irrevocable condition. So black folks are always searching for home. I had a brother from the islands, named Dr. Leslie James, a brother who was my mentor in undergrad, that said black folks are always searching for home. So to put
It's
this
true.
thing full circle, you're searching for home. I think you found home, which is why Q points and the other things that you do, people feel so welcome. I think that's
I
how it
would agree.
connects for you.
I would agree. Thank you for making that plain. And yes, it's just this. I don't know, this I've always had to censor myself. I've always had to what do we to teach kids how to regulate their emotions.
Code switch,
Well,
emotional
no, regulate,
regulation.
yeah,
Mhm.
emotional regulation, and so that's what I've always had to do. And so if I'm discombobulated and I'm dysregulated, then that's going to happen to you. And I don't like chaos. I
Okay.
can't, if
Okay.
I do not like chaos around me. I tend to, if I feel somebody has a chaotic spirit, I
Uh
kind
huh.
of, tip away from that. And so I feel like if I regulate myself, that's going to allow you to feel, to sink in with me, and to regulate and to feel a sense of calm. And that way, something harmonious can happen. We can, there's no ill will, but like we're building, we're laughing, we're sharing sweet tea, whatever. Those kinds
Hmm.
of things. I want joy to come into that area,
Hmm.
into that moment. And so when we part ways, I want you to still leave feeling that. So that's yeah. So that's my, I guess, philosophy. That's my
Yeah.
resilient
I think
story.
it's
What?
I think it's a philosophy, it's a story of resilience, but it's also something that you live. So you embody it. So as I always say, you have identity congruence now. And so that identity congruence flows through everything that you do. So I'm curious too, brother DJ Sardan, you know there is an activist in you. Like if you listen to just Q points for a second, if you have regular conversations with you, you are very outspoken about social issues, the social conditions for Black people. You definitely gonna, like I said before, represent for female MCs, and I don't know if that's intentional, but I love the fact that you are all encompassing with who you support on a music level with Q points. So how no matter how someone identifies, they get love on Q points. So where
Mhm.
does these activist proclivities and being able to speak to the social condition of Black people in a very reasoned manner that has a lot of wisdom that's coming from somewhere? Because you an activist, brother. So tell me a little bit how that developed.
So so for the audience, when Dr. Ed came approached me about being on the show, and he mentioned wanting to explore my
Yeah.
activism, I was like, activist? Me? That,
Yeah.
and I think,
Yeah.
and I think that's only because of the how activism has been marketed to us
Mm-hmm.
these
Yes.
days, right? So
Yeah.
that's why I'm like, oh, I'm not an activist. I'm not, I'm not on the front line like that. But what I do believe, and what I've come to realize what you're referring to, is that yes, whenever you challenge any kinds of social norms that are hurtful to people, that are damaging to people, then I guess you are performing activism. If you question something, you are performing activism, because especially when it's something that's harmful to a group of people. And so, I don't know, I guess maybe because I've always empathized with the underdog, I feel like that's why when it comes to my musical heroes, yes, it was always glaring to me that, women in hip hop were always, the sub conversation of another conversation. And then it just got to a point where it was like, you know, everybody was having these, who's your top 5 dead or alive conversations. And it started becoming redundant. And, I just started to feel like, what is it, or just wanted to know, what is it about this other half of us, because women are our other half, and that men are unable to identify with, or for whatever reason in this particular realm of music, are unable to identify with or respect that when they grew up around women. And
Oh yeah.
so that just, that just became a question in my mind. And then when nobody else was doing it, I was like, hey, you know what? Nobody else is saying it. Why don't I raise this flag and say, hey, I love, light, sweet tea, salt and pepper. I love all of y'all to death. I'm going to dedicate a mix show to you and play nothing but, cuts from your career, because I believe that you put out just as much good work as any of your male counterparts over the years. And so that was just my small form of activism, and just, celebrating people where you can. But yeah, as far as where it comes from, just rooting for the underdog and knowing how it feels to be othered. And so, and again, needing some kind of balance. Like you were talking about the gentleman, our possible Caribbean connections, and the people that you've spoken with and work with that are also from the Caribbean. And it just makes me think, I am so saddened in this moment of xenophobia that we are experiencing amongst Black people. It
Yeah.
is so disheartening. It breaks my heart into a million pieces to hear each other talk about, well, Black Americans don't get credit for this, or you never hear a Black American being lifted up for that, and see, only Black Americans can do this. And then at the same token, to hear a lot of people from the Caribbean, Africans, really just dogging our cousins from the American soil. And
I
it's
see it.
and I'm just like, what are we doing, y'all? Y'all do realize that to them, we're all the same cancer that needs to be eradicated.
Yeah. I think
So
about Franklin and Beverly and Mays. We are one. No matter what we do, we are one.
And have you heard the theories now? The theories now, they want to separate us so bad. Like, how we know that that people came over here on slave ships? You trying to tell me that slave ships made it across the ocean, and you trying to tell me that the only place that Black people came from is Africa, because you can find Black people in? Yes.
Yeah.
People built ships. There was ways. Travel is the way that all of these
transatlantic slave trade.
their wealth. They were able to leave their shores and go to other countries. So yes, they were able to navigate these seas and transport property, people, all of that. Yes, there are people at the bottom of the ocean, the Atlantic Ocean right now, that chose freedom over death. You know what I'm saying? Because they would rather die at the bottom of the ocean than stay on that ship. I don't know where these seeds are coming from. I really do believe that the seeds are coming from grifters. We are in the season of the grift, and people are making money off of selling strife and selling rage. If you and I continue to be in a rage at all times, our cortisol levels go up, we continue to be stressed all the time, then we are unable to make better decisions. And we're continuously on the precipice of having a breakdown. And there are people out there that are selling it. I don't understand why we're buying it.
Yeah, I mean, part of anti-blackness, and anti-blackness can happen from other Black people, is not understanding or having a deep appreciation for history. So if you do not know your history, if your identity is not congruent, then you would entertain such foolishness, because we are one. We are the diaspora, and any way that we try to separate ourselves is disingenuous to the Black liberation struggle. I have I mean, I could talk to you for hours, but I have to end with this. We're not necessarily ending. This is going to be an ongoing conversation, because I'm a Q Points top fan, okay? If I'm not listed as one, I am. We always ask this question on Sweet Tea Ethics, and so I'm very curious for you, since you are a music aficionado. Who is on your healing playlist. Pandora asks you, DJ Sardane, we need a healing playlist. Help people get through things, get over things, resilient stories. What's on there?
So I'll give you 3 examples. The first, if I were to do a playlist, the first song, of course, of healing would be From Soul to Soul, Keep On Moving.
Okay. All right. I'm with you.
Groundbreaking anthem to this day. For the obvious reasons. You know, the lyric itself is self-explanatory. So a song that has helped me out over the years is by a little known group from New Jersey called Blaze. They are heavy on the house scene, especially the late 80s, early 90s. And they had a commercial hit with a song called So Special.
Okay, I'll check that out.
Yeah, I saw them on BET with Donnie Simpson on Video Soul.
Oh,
I think, yeah, and this was 1990, so I had to be at least like 14, 15. And just the lyrics grabbed me, and it literally told me that I was special at a time where I really didn't think I was. And the last song I'm gonna hit you with is it's campy, it's funny, it's light, but it's got a really heavy lyric in it, because one of the lyrics says, "Ain't this my sun? Ain't this my moon? Ain't this my world to be who I choose?" And that, of course, is Uncanny Alliance. I'm beautiful, damn it. And that, when I heard that song in 1994, I was like, whoa.
And say the artist again.
Uncanny Alliance.
Okay.
And just that lyric alone, ain't this my world? Ain't this my moon? Ain't this my world to be who I choose? You know, I was like, wow, the audacity. It was like, the audacity to claim your spot in this world. So that's a huge part of healing for me.
Ooh, so ain't this my sun? Ain't this my moon? All right.
Yes.
I think that's a proper way to bring our time to a close. But before we get out of here, I just want to thank you for being vulnerable in this space, for feeling like Sweet Tea Ethics is a place of safety for you. So how can people get in contact? How can they book you for sound selector? How can people take their conversation with you to the digital space?
Thank you, first of all, for letting me be a part of Sweet Tea Ethics. I appreciate you always, and I'm only a phone call away. My handle is DJ Sir Daniel, pretty much everywhere.
All right.
I do have a website, theSirDaniel.com, and that's where I can get contacts and people reach out for bookings if you so choose. But yeah, it's DJ Sir Daniel on IG, Twitter, and of course you can catch me on Q Points Podcast, Q Points Pod, everywhere for that experience, along with the homie J Ray. So yes.
Yeah, and I have to thank you again, because part of my healing playlist is Q Points. You never realize how spaces as you get older become so unwelcoming. And so when you can get down, I think it's on Thursdays, right? When you can get down with brothers and just feel at home, it's the best thing that you can do. So y'all continue to connect with DJ Sir Daniel. Me and him are going to continue to connect because our relationship is ever growing and flowing. So I appreciate you coming to the space, and hopefully our audience got to see that activist musicologist side that is burning deep within inside of you. Because if you don't start teaching, we're going to find you at school. Okay. But I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you. Love you, man. And thank you for pouring Sweet Tea Ethics with me. Thank you for listening as we pour some good old Sweet Tea Ethics. Hope this special brew was healing to your mind, body, and your soul. Subscribe to the show, join our mailing list, and visit sweetteaethics.com. Peace, love, and poppy seed oil to you all.